Somebody, Yah. Praise Yah. All right, wonderful, everyone. So let's go ahead and get started in our lesson today. Again, thank you guys so much for making yourselves available to be taught the words of the living Elohim. Let me see what I can get right here. Share. Okay, here we go. Subway. All right. You see my screen?
And
Okay, praise Yah. All right, our Torah portion this week was a very interesting Torah portion. It's actually called me quates. Me quates. You say, well, what does that mean? Does anybody know?
At the end?
Yes, at the end. Okay. But from a grammatical standpoint, it's not at the end, it's from the end. And why do we call it from? It's found in the word mequates. Why do we call it from? Why is it from the end?
the mem.
Out of this word, yes, it's the mem. Absolutely, it's the mem. It's from. So they replace the word with at the end versus from the end. Okay, and that could be a problem. That could be a problem because again, language is very important. It directs your mind to certain things and makes you think a certain way, right? And so we want to get the proper understanding from this. Okay. It says, remember things that happened from the ancient times, long ago, that I am Elohim, and there is no other. I am Elohim, and there is none like me. I will make known the end from the beginning, the ancient times, what is still to come. Okay, I say my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. Yahweh, our Elohim, is an Elohim that tells us about the end from the beginning. Okay, so he doesn't tell us at the end, he tells us the end from the beginning. Okay, that's what Yah lets us know. And that's what separates him from all other supposed gods. That's what makes it different, because as we've been discussing in our last couple of lessons about Yah being all existence and him being the one who knows everything. Okay, so before things even happen, Yah knows about it, just like he told Pharaoh. He gave him that dream. He told him about the good things that were going to happen, and he told him the bad things were going to happen. So Joseph was letting him know, like, hey, these things are going to happen. And that can only come from the self-existing one. Okay, so before things even happen, the Most High knows all about it, right? Which gives us a sense of comfort to let us know that no matter what we're facing in our life, Yah has already known about it. So if he already knows about it, then he can make provision like he's done for the house of Israel and for the children of Jacob, and so they can stay alive. That's the whole purpose why you're here. Okay, so Yah lets you know the end from the beginning. That word end is called olam. Olam. Okay, you might hear this like in a prayer. Often you would say, Yahweh Eloheinu the Melech HaOlam, meaning he's the king for all time, for everlasting. He's the one from the ancient times. Okay, what I discovered in my learning was that ancient doesn't always mean in the past. Ancient is not always in the past, right? Ancient can also mean something that's in the distant future. It could be in the distant past, or it can be in the distant future, right? But one thing that it doesn't talk about, let me write this perfectly. Okay. It could be in the distant past, or it can be in the distant future. But you might ask yourself the question, what about the present? What about the present tense? What about right now? Well, you don't need to know because you're in the moment. What you don't know is everything that's happened in the distant past, and you don't know what's going to happen in the distant future. You should know what's going on right now. You should. Okay, you have an awareness about your situation and where the world is. Let me ask you, what's going on with the state of Israel? The state of Israel.
It's at war.
They're at war. And they're committing genocide against a people, the Palestinians. Right? But we don't know what the future is. Right? We know somewhat of the past because it's been told to us, but we don't completely know everything that's happened in the past. We don't. So what it is, everyone, is that we're on what they will call a discovery. Okay, to find out what it is, because Yah wants us to know. This is what makes him so unique in a way. This is what makes him so beautiful, is that we have access to the Elohim, the only Elohim that exists, that will tell us what it was in the past, in the distant past, and he's going to tell us about the future. Okay? It also has this idea of forever. Okay? That means that it's perpetual. That means that it's not going to end, right? So there is literally no end. Let me see. There is literally no end. Okay, so when he talks about, I'm going to bring it at the end, it might be something in the Hebrew to mean something that's cut off at a certain point, right? Like when you wake up out of your sleep, you cut off the sleep, and now it's time for you to be awakened. Okay, we know that when something comes to a so-called end, it's really a beginning of something else. And just keeps going and going and going. You have the end of your life. And then something else begins. You have the end of a business. And then something else begins. So the end is not necessarily the end. It's literally the beginning. And that's where we get our idea of this circle, this cyclical life. You go around it and you have different points where things happen. Okay? You might have something, like I said, where something begins and something ends. Like in your Torah portion. Remember, in the Torah portion, you have what they call a stuma, and then you have a putuka. And that tells you that that's the end of the actual teaching. But is it really the end? No, it's not. It's just a break. It's just a cutoff. Okay? So what Yah is really telling us is that it's just a time of something being cut off. Okay. And in our Torah portion, what he was doing is he's going to cut off the food supply. Let me ask you a question. After the famine, the 7 years of famine, did fruits and vegetables and wheat and barley come back? Yes. You see? So it doesn't mean the end. It just means something that's cut off at that time. Also, alam means something that's hidden. Okay? It's hidden. What do we mean, Akika? Well, what do I mean is I'm telling you that there's things that are in the past that have been hidden from us, right? And there's things in the future that you don't know. So when it's hidden, it's out of your sight. It's out of your understanding. It's out of your knowledge. It's out of your wisdom. You don't know. Okay, so if something's hidden, it's unknown to you. Okay? So does Yah want us to be a people that don't know? No. You and I have access to the one who is hidden. We have access to the one who is forever. We have access to the one that is the past, the present, and the future. We have the access to the one who is all existence. Yah is Olam. Oh, praise be to the mighty Yah. And also, too, Olam means to be beyond. Again, beyond the scope, beyond the sight, beyond the ability to be able to see something, or the ability to be able to use any of our 5 senses. It's beyond. You can't use your eyes to find out. You don't know what your ears can. They ain't heard nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't tasted nothing. You ain't touched nothing. You ain't felt nothing. You ain't smelled anything. Because you're here in the now. You understand? It's just keeping everything Olam. Yah is beyond. Okay? He's beyond time. He's not stuck in the past. He's not only operating in the present. And truly, he's beyond the future. And I don't know if you remember, but I told you that your past is your future. Because if you reverse this, okay, and we would put it like on a map, like the north, the south, the west, and the east, okay? The Hebraic thought is that everything starts in the east. So over here would be your past, okay? That's your past. So when you go this direction, right, to the west. And of course, that will be over what you would think would be your future, okay? But this is a linear type of thinking, okay? That means that you're just going this way. And you think life is just like just going straight and you don't turn back. That's not the Hebrew life. The Hebrew life is one of cycles. So it starts here, goes here, shoots and comes back. That's all it is. So the circle could be like that. It could be like this. It just keeps going around and around and around and around and around and around and around. How do we know this? Well, there's something that's in the sky called the sun, right? And so the sun, where does the sun rise from?
The east.
East.
The sun is coming from the east, okay? And the sun goes on a trip, okay? So it rises. And we would think that, well, it's rising this way, right? Straight up. The sun is literally going on a cycle. So it'll start here and then it'll work its way all the way around here. And then it keeps going until it comes back around. It's on a course. Okay. So that's what life is for us. Life is like the sun. And when the sun is on its course, it's following what they would call Yah's instructions. It's its instructions that it's following. The moon, the stars, and everything are following Yah's decrees. Okay. And without those cycles, then you and I would be lost, what they would say, lost in the sauce. So Yah he has us on a cycle like the sun. And if the sun is to refuse to do what he asked it to do, then if it got off its course, then there will be a great problem for the earth. Do you understand? So he's letting us know that even the sun has a course. Even the sun understands what it is. They know where to come from. Okay. And so these things that we're talking about are olam. They're the end. So it says this, it says, from eternity, no one has ever heard, no ear perceived, no eye seen any Elohim but you. He will work for him who is longing for him. Okay. So what this is talking about in the book of Yeshayahu is saying that anybody that's longing for Yahweh, that is literally waiting for Yahweh. Okay. That's the goal, is to wait. Okay. But it's from eternity. It's from Olam that no one has ever heard, like I said, and have never ears never perceived, and no eyes ever seen any Elohim but you. Okay. So all of our learning, all of our understanding, and even Olam is always going to point to us having only one Elohim. And we have to wait for that Elohim. Okay. We have to wait for him. Just like Yosef had to wait, just like Yaakov had to wait. We all have to go through this process of waiting. Okay. And it's from eternity. In the Hebrew, it says, again, you see that mem right there. It means from, not at. It's from Olam. Okay. And then, of course, you know what the word lo is. What is lo? What does lo mean?
Oh, not never.
No. And then we know what Shema is. No one has ever heard. Okay. No. Has everyone caused to be seen? This is Azanu right here. Your ears. No one's ever heard. There doesn't exist anyone who's ever never have seen with their eyes Elohim. No one. Moses didn't see him. Did Moshe see him? No.
He saw the back of him,
He saw the back of him, but did he see his face? No.
his face.
What did the children of Israel see?
They saw the smoke and the fire.
Saw the fire. But guess what? The fire is not Yah. The smoke is not Yah. The earthquakes are not Yah. None of that is Yah.
That is what it speaks through.
Yeah. They heard his voice, but they ain't never seen Yah. And now the bad part is like when he does come, listen to me carefully. When Yah comes, everybody is going to see him. They're going to see the glory of Yah. And what did the children of Israel say if anybody was to see him or hear his voice? What's going to happen to him?
They would die.
They're going to die. Okay. So we haven't. And so the reason why this text, everyone, is mentioned, okay, listen to me carefully. The reason why he's saying this in the book of Isaiah, which is salvation, okay, is because in that same chapter, and even previously to that in chapter 63, it talks about Yahweh coming. Okay. But Yahweh is going to work on behalf of those who are waiting for him, that are longing and craving for him. Okay. So he's letting us know that from eternity, ain't nobody ever seen. So now Yah, there's a time that Yah has written out for the world to be judged. And that's the reason why that's mentioned, is because he's saying nobody's ever seen it. And the question is, why is he going to cause everyone to see it? Why is he going to all of a sudden reveal himself to the world? Tell me.
So they can know the error of their ways.
They can know the error of their ways, and they will know that there is no other Elohim except for Yah. That's the reason why. Because this back and forth, and the wicked people on the earth that think that there's no Elohim, that says to themselves that I can do evil and I'm never going to have to pay for this because God doesn't see. See, the New Testament has caused people to put their guard down. And they make you think that you're okay and that you have nothing to fear because the creator of the heavens and the earth is no longer concerned with humanity because Christ died for their sins. That's not true. Yah is coming, everyone, to judge the world. This is why you're on this class. That's why you're learning the Torah. It's because he's getting you prepared so when he comes, he won't destroy you. Listen what it says. You favor those who were glad to do righteousness, those who remembered you in your ways. When you were angry, we kept sinning. But if we keep your ancient ways, the Olam, we will be saved. You see? So salvation is found in Olam. Salvation is found in Yah's ways. It's Yahweh's ways that are going to deliver you. It's the ancient ways. I remember before my mother passed away, and I told her that I discovered this way of life. And she said to me, "Oh, you've gone way too far. You're living as you're in the ancient days." And I said, "Yeah, Mama, I am living at the ancient days because the Elohim that we serve is an Elohim of Olam. He's from everlasting, everybody. He's not the God of the Old Testament. He's not the God of the New Testament. He's not the God of whatever testament. He's the Elohim of Olam. Ha-Olam. You see? So our Elohim is not stuck in old or new. Our Elohim is not stuck in past, present, or future. Our Elohim is eternal. And his salvation is for those who remember. They remember him. They remember his ways. They don't cast off what he said and say, we're going to do something different. They don't say there's a new way. There is no new way. There has been no new way for the sun. There has been no new way for the stars. There has been no way for the ocean. There has been no new way of nothing growing. There has been nothing new. And if nothing else has changed, then why do we think the Yah has changed? Salvation is for those who remember Yah in his ways, the ancient ways. The ways in which Yah has expressed and told us what it is. That's the reason why you're reading this. Thus says Yahweh, Yisrael's king and redeemer. Yahweh Zavaoth. I am the first and I am the last. And besides me, there is no God. Who is like me? Let him speak out and let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the Olam people, the eternal people. Let him foretell future signs and events to them. So Yah is telling us something here. When he mentions I am the first, and you know in the New Testament, they got that thing about I am Alpha and Omega. That's a lie. I am the first and I am the last. That word last right there is called akar. And akar means after. I'm the one who's after. I'm the one, and in this word akar is the word kar, which means anger. When you talk about after, he's talking about the last days. Akarith hamayim, which you're going to see that word in your Torah, in your study today. When you talk about Akarith, I'm talking about the last days. I'm the Elohim of the first days, and I am the Elohim of the last days. There's no one who's like me. And if there is, let him speak out and let him show, not you, let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the eternal people, the people of Olam, the people of the future, the people of the past, the people that are unknown, the people that are hidden. I want him, this so-called who thinks they're like me, let him foretell future signs and events to them. This is how you should know whether or not I am Elohim, that I'm the first, because I tell you things before they even happen. And everything I tell you has to come to pass, because if it doesn't come to pass, I did not say it. Yah is telling us, I don't care about what John the Baptist talked about. I don't care a letter that was written by some half Greek, half so-called Israelite called Thomas or Timothy. I don't care about a blind man who had an issue with his eyes called Paul to tell you something that I did not say. I don't care if somebody told you that I said, oh, behold, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him. That's the only words that you say that I said. There is no thus saith Yahweh. There is no do this and know that I said it. I'm from everlasting. I am the first Elohim that you know, and I will be the last that you'll ever know. Because besides me, there is no God. I don't care how many images you make. I don't care how many paintings you have. I don't care how many statues you have. There is no one besides me. Oh, praise be to the living Elohim today. Why is this important? Because our Torah person said equates. They have here at the end of 2 years, Pharaoh had a dream. The proper text is from the end of 2 years of days. Pharaoh had a dream. And the question is why? And where is this from the end or at the end of 2 years? Was it 2 years of Pharaoh's life? Was it 2 years after his birthday? What was it 2 years? The 2 years was, it had to do with Yosef. It was 2 years after Yosef had asked this man, the butler, to remember him, and Yah left him in that prison for 2 years. From that time. And in the morning, he found himself so upset that he summoned all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one there could interpret them for him. So he called, listen, when we read this story, I'm pretty sure we thought there was just a bunch of magicians that were hanging out in his courtyard. There was some there. We thought maybe that the wise men, according to the movies that we saw, that they were all on standby at the Capitol. That ain't true. What he did was he called out to all of the magicians in all of Egypt. So they had to travel to come there. He summoned all of them and put out a request for them to come from all over the land. And they came, and all of its wise men, they need to come because Pharaoh told them his dreams, because he had a dream and he wanted to know what the interpretation was. But there was no one there could interpret it. That interpretation is like cracking open a shell and revealing what's inside. The word magician comes from this word called kartume. That's what a magician is, a kartume, okay? What does it sound like? Kartume. Kartume. What does that sound like to you? Think in English. Kartume.
Cartoon.
Cartoon. Very, very similar. They're cognate. They're related. These words are related, and I'm going to show you how. Okay? They use the same letters. Okay? It's called kartume. Okay? And the may on the end is plurality. So he's asking all these magicians to come. Okay? And they're showing up. But what is a kartume? It's a magician, right? But what does a magician do? The magician is the one who has the pen in their hand. The magician is the one who draws with the pen. The magician is the one who scribes, and they use what they call circles and other shapes. And they come up with what you would call abstract understandings, okay? And they use the sun, the moon, and the stars, and they use all these other devices, but they draw everything out. Just like somebody who's making a cartoon. A cartoon is something that's drawn out in order to describe something, to give you an event or tell you a story. Okay? They're the engravers. So they're engraving these things, and they're trying to tell you a story. And then once they put the story together, they show you all the different photos or the pictures of it, and then you come up with an idea of what it means, which is kind of like what you have right now with cartoons. Cartoons are things that are drawn out. They're images, right? And guess what it's doing? This is what's dangerous about a cartoon. Cartoons are the ones that are they're engraving something on your mind. I keep trying to tell us that what we listen to and what we look at And what we read and what we understand is making images, and it's engraving into your mind like you would a clay tablet. Okay. It's like when they would engrave something in stone, right? And it stays there, or clay, something is malleable, right? You can put something in and then it dries up and then it's there. So what they're doing is they're making engravements inside of your mind with these images. Okay. So if I told you what does Bugs Bunny look like, or I say Bugs Bunny, you know exactly what it looks like. If I told you Roadrunner, you would know what it looks like automatically. I'll just say Roadrunner and you would know what it is. I say Tasmanian Devil, you know exactly what it is. And the image will pop in your head. You know exactly what it is. Okay. And other cartoons. So what they're doing is they're what they would call devising things, and they're putting something in your head. Okay. And so that's what a magician does. Okay. That's what they do. And so Yosef was 30 years old when he stood up before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, because Pharaoh was a king. Okay. Why is it important for us to know how old Yosef was? Well, of course, we know that. How old was he when he left? How old was he when he was taken and sold as a slave? How old was he?
Was he 17?
He was 17. Okay, so we'll take that. 30 is what we have. We have 17. That leaves us with 13. Okay. All right, so we got 13. So 13 years, right? He was 17. He stayed in Potiphar's house for about 5 years. Okay. See this? That leaves us with 8. 8 years he did prison time. Okay. 2 from that 8. Remember, he had waited. He was in there for 6 years, and he had to wait another extra 2 years because he asked for a man to deliver him. Okay. He could have got out in 6 years if we would have called upon the Most High. But of course, we know the Most High is about timing, right? So also, too, he kept him there because it wasn't the right time for him to come out. So Yah's accomplishing more of his goal and his desire when he said, everything that I do I do according to my pleasure. So at the time that he kept him in prison, he kept him there because he knew that at the time when Pharaoh would have that dream, it would give them the time that they need, like 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine, right? So, and of course, this time right here will be included into his age, because when he came after the 7 years of famine, he was 7 years of the plenty, he was 37 years old. Okay. And then, of course, when his brothers came, they came in, I think, in the second year of the famine. So it makes him 39 years old. Okay. And then, of course, it goes on and on and on. But the breakdown is important to know exactly how much time was there, because what you see is that Yah is letting us know about timing. Everything has to be at a specific time in order for Yah's plan. So Yah is letting us know that he is about math. Yah's about math. And in Yah's timing, there is formulas and calculations to let us know exactly when something's going to happen. So it's not arbitrary, right? So these words, or these things about 2 years, 30 years, 7 years, all these numbers is not on accident. Okay. We also know that Yosef, how much, since we're talking about math, how much did Yosef say that he took away from the children of Egypt, or the Egyptians? How much did he charge them in the 7 years of plenty? What was the percentage? He took 1/5. Okay. Which equals to 20%. He took 20%. Question: when he gave this advice to Pharaoh, how did he know to take 20%? Where did that come from? How did he know? Who gave him the math on how much to take? The answer is Yah. Okay. But it also lets you know something about Yosef. Was Yosef a dumb young man? Was he stupid?
No.
No.
So if he knew about the percentages and he knew about a fifth, and he knew that if he took that, he knew how much it was necessary to take. So what I'm saying is that Joseph was intelligent, okay? Is not, so when we talk about the work that he did in Potiphar's house, and he managed his house. He managed his house, he managed the stuff that was in the prison. So he was a very smart guy. He was a smart kid. He was intelligent, okay? So again, we also have other writings to talk about how his father, remember he was his father loved him and he was a child of his old age, but his father was also learned. Remember, Jacob stayed in the tents, and Jacob was in there learning. And Jacob was in there learning how to read. He was also there to learn how to do what they was our thing called math. You have to know, you have to be able to take inventory. You have to know that. You have to be able to count. Okay, like the sheep and the goats and all this kind of stuff. So these weren't stupid people. These weren't, when you talk about the people that are shepherding, they're very smart and intelligent people. Okay, so they're not dumb, right? So that's how long it took before he was able to stand before Pharaoh, which is equivalent of 13 years. Why is this important? Because Yah's telling us something about timing. Okay, so according to this, we know that before being ruined, a person's heart is proud. This is found in Mishlei in the book of Proverbs, chapter number 18, verse number 12. Very important to understand something. Before being ruined, a person's mind is proud. But before being honored, a person must be humble. Why is this important? Because this is the process in which one who is going to be honored has to go through. Our person that's going to be honored must be humbled first. That's what they have to go through, right? So Yah sends us through certain things. Now, when we talk about being humble, we're not only talking about Yosef. Who else was humbled? Who's humbled? Let's talk about all the people that were humbled.
Moshe.
Yeah. Moshe has been humbled.
Noah.
Noah was humbled.
Solomon.
Solomon was humbled. David was humbled. How about the children of Israel? How about the men of our Torah portion? Yehuda was humbled when he found out that he was a whore and that it wasn't Tamar, it was him. He was humbled. The brothers were humbled. Reuven was humbled when Joseph threw him in prison for 3 days. They were humbled. Simeon was humbled. He stayed in there even longer. Was Yaakov humbled? How was Yaakov humbled? When his sons came to him and said,
Death of his son, the so-called death of his son.
the so-called death of his son, but even in our Torah portion, he was very adamant about saying, no, I'm not sending Benjamin with you. What caused him to be humble? To send Benjamin. He was humbled because he knew if I don't become humble, then I'm going to die. We're going to die if we don't become humble. Listen, we're going to die if we don't become humble. This is why Yah has sent us to where he sent us. You have to have humility. If Noah didn't have humility, he would have died. Him and his family. You see? Humility. So here it is. Before being ruined, a person's heart is proud. This is what happens to people who lift themselves up before the Most High. God tells us the way that you should live before me is walking before me humbly. Don't stick your chest out and your brain out because you think how smart you are. Don't become proud and thinking I'm not going to hold you accountable. Ray even said, didn't I tell you that if we did this, if you did this to the boy, we're going to have to pay for this? They understood what it was. Y'all didn't let anybody go. If we don't become humble, then we're going to become ruined. Ruin means you're going to die. It means that your life is over. Your family's life is over. So Yaakov had to humble himself. He had to humble him. Yehuda's like, look, I'm not going back unless he told us what it is. Don't get proud-hearted and try to push your way on anybody. It is what it is. And Yah's telling us, if you stand before me, remember, Shlomo is supposed to be the wisest man that Yah has ever given wisdom to. He's telling us what it is. We got to be open to understanding. Here's something else you need to understand within that same chapter. A person's gift clears his way and gives him access to the great. In the King James, it says a man's gift makes room for him. It's going to make room for you. Okay? So it's a gift that is going to clear a way for you. It's something about you that's going to make, and it's going to open things for you. When it talks about it makes room, it's going to open things for you. It's going to become roomy for you. You have enough room to move around. Okay? It's going to clear your path, and it's going to give you access to the great. So when we talk about this gift, right? A person's gift. In the New Testament, it says that you guys have all these different gifts. You have the gift of the Spirit. You have the gift of speaking in tongues. You have the gift of this. You have the gift of that. You could do this. You could do that. And all those gifts that they claim that they have has never given them access to the great. So we know that's a lie. See? So here it is. I want to ask you a question. Okay? So remember, a person's gift is what's going to make room for him. It's going to give him way and gives access to the great. Pharaoh said to Yosef, I had a dream and there is no one to interpret it. I've heard it said about you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret. Yosef answered Pharaoh, it isn't in me. It isn't in me. Elohim will give Pharaoh an answer that will set his mind at peace. Okay? I highlighted it isn't in me. Whatever gift, what we have, everyone, is not for us. Anything that we have is been given to us by Yah. It's been given. It's not in us. It's Elohim. He's the one who gets the glory. He's the one who gets the recognition. He's the one that gets the praise. He's the one who gets the attention. He's the one who gets the light that's shed upon the situation. You see? So here you see that Yosef is exercising what? He's exercising humility. It isn't in me. We have to stop trying to take credit for the things that Yah is doing. That's what it is. And Yah's ultimate goal is for someone to come to peace. And the only way that a person's mind will be set at peace is if they got an answer from Yah. And that's the only way that you and I are ever going to be at peace, is if we're hearing what Yah has to say and not what other people are talking about. Yosef was bound in chains for years and years and years. Remember, we went over, he wasn't just walking around free. He had chains on him. He was a prisoner. He was locked down for years. So what was Yosef's gift? What's his gift? What's Joseph's gift? What did he have? What did Pharaoh ask him for? He had the gift to interpret dreams. Okay? He had the ability to interpret dreams. But I want to show you something that's even greater than that. Humility. Your gift is not for you. Your gift is not for you. Your gift is for others. The gift that Yah has given to us is humility. That is a gift from Yah, along with a lot of other gifts. But the true gift is humility. If you can learn, and not you, if we can learn how to be humble, and we can learn how to exercise this gift of humility, we would have greater outcomes than what we would even anticipate. Humility is the answer, everybody. David said this in Psalms 119. He says, for it is my good. It is for my good that I have been humbled. It was so that I would learn your laws, which gives us a clue about why humility is so great. So humility is connected to not being ruined, right? Okay, like being proud, but humility is also connected to this idea about learning Yah's laws. The only way that you and I can ever learn about Yah's laws is we have to be humbled. Yah humbled Yosef for many, many years to prepare him to be able to use his gift in a way that would bring glory to Yahweh. Remember when he was in prison and he gave the interpretation to the butler and the baker, and he said, well, you know, make sure you tell Pharaoh about me. Make sure you tell him I've been sold over here and I'm not guilty. Make sure you tell him about me and about my gift. Tell him about me. But you see, 2 years later, he came out with a different story because he finally understood that it's not about us. It's not about me. It's about Yah. That's what you and I have to understand. And we can't understand this until we become humbled. As I stated last week, Yah will put us into fire to humble you. That's what it's going to be. And he's going to bring us out when he sees fit, when it's his pleasure, when it's his time, when it's going to make sense for him, when he's going to get the maximum glory. You and I haven't given Yah the maximum. We've been giving Yah the minimum. We've been saying it's about me. It's about me. It's not, and then we throw Yah in there as an addition. We have to stop minimizing the Most High, and we have to start maximizing. You maximize him by allowing him to humble you. So that what? So that we can learn his laws. Because that's what it's about. There is no humility outside of coming to say that I'm done. I'm ready to learn. David understood that, and David was a king. And let's see what it says. So he humbled their hearts by hard labor. Again, Yah is showing that humility is going to come by something. It comes by hard labor. You ask yourself, why did Yah do what he did to the children of Israel? And he gave them this hard labor because he wanted to humble them. And when they stumbled, no one came to their aid. Again, I'm going to humble you and cause you to go through it because I want you to understand something. And I don't want you to miss it. I don't want you to miss what Yah is saying, that no one will come to your aid. No one came to Joseph's aid. No one. While he was in prison. No one. The butler didn't come. He did a favor for him and told him to drink. And he thought, well, that would be a great exchange. Now I can get it out and I can get set free. No. When the children of Israel have done what they've done, Yah said, I'm going to put you under hard labor. I send you to the nations. I'm going to have you there to work hard in their fields. I'm going to have them knock your teeth out your mouth. Because that's what you deserve. Why? Because you broke my laws. Matter of fact, you don't believe what Yah is talking about? Go to Leviticus chapter number 26, and he tells you that I'm going to send a sword after you. To what? Wreak vengeance on you because you broke my laws. So stop crying about your hard labor. Yah has done this to humble his people. So you and I will know that no one will ever come to your aid. There will be no one to come and save you. I don't care how many times you cry out to Christ. No one is going to come to save you. Stop crying out to your government looking for aid, looking for human rights. They're not going to save you. None of your leaders. Stop celebrating these times of Martin Luther King Jr. He's not going to save you. Malcolm X is not going to save you. Marcus Garvey is not going to save you. Frederick Douglass is not going to save you. I don't care who it is they're not going to save you. Not from what Yah has done. They're not going to save us. Why is this important for us to understand? Because again, like Yah told us, I want you to remember my ancient ways. I also want you to remember everything in the way which Yahweh led you these 40 years in the desert, humbling and testing you in order to know what was in your heart. Whether you would obey his mitzvot or not. He did that through causing you to be hungry. The word that they have for hunger is the same word that's used for famine. I'm going to put a hole in your stomach. I'm going to do that to you, which in the Hebrew, the letters ra, meaning evil, is inside of the word famine. It's in there. Okay? I'm going to bring this to you. I'm going to put you on empty. I'm going to put your tank on empty so I can find out whether or not you're going to listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to put you under hard labor to find out whether or not you're going to listen to me. I want you to know it. I already know it, but I want you to know it. I want to know if you know. I want to be fair to you. He humbled you, Davarim 8 and 4, allowing you to become hungry. In Hebrew is starving, and fed you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors have ever known, to make you understand that a person does not live on bread alone, lavado. It's not the only thing, but on everything that comes, motza, from the mouth of Yahweh, the P of Yahweh, the mouth of Yahweh. I want you to know how important it is, how essential it is for you to be humble. Because if you're not going to be humble, you're going to stay in those chains. I'm going to continually, constantly lock you down in whatever method that needs to happen, whether it's your stomach, whether it's you're being oppressed, whatever it takes. I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure that you be humble, so you can understand, so you can finally get the recognition of who I am. And it's not until you recognize, because that's part of the word recognition, is to recognize, cognitive, to be understanding what's happening, to be in your mind and your conscious thought. You're still going to stay humble. You're still going to stay in prison. But once you become humble and you do what I'm asking you to do, you will then get the recognition that you're supposed to after you recognize who I am. Pharaoh said to his officials, can there be found a man like this? The spirit of Elohim lives in him. So Pharaoh said to Yosef, since Elohim has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You will be in charge of my household, and all my household and all my people will be ruled by what you say. Giving him recognition after Yosef gave them the understanding from Yah. Therefore, observe them, Davarim 4 and 6. Observe them, follow and do what? The commandments. For then all the peoples will see you having wisdom and understanding. When they hear of all these laws, they will say, this great nation is surely a wise and understanding people. That's the only time you and I are ever going to get recognition. This is what makes us wise in understanding. It's the Torah. What great nation is there that has laws and rulings just as this entire Torah, which I'm setting before you today? So your wisdom, your understanding, and your knowledge is going to come through Torah. Just like Pharaoh said to him that there's no one is discerning and wise. And he's the Hebrew boy. You're the Hebrew people. And if you're not Hebrew, you're joined to the Hebrew people. You are part of the Hebrew family. It is only through the Torah that you will have wisdom and understanding. And guess what? That's a gift. Your Haftarah, First Kings, you found something. You found something out. And I try to put the pieces together to find out what was the theme that Yah was trying to get us to understand between the reading of the Haftarah and the reading of the Torah portion. And we're going to discover it. It says this. It says that one time the king went to Givon to sacrifice there because that was the main high place. And Shlomo offered 1,000 burnt offerings on the altar there. Question. Is that in the Torah to offer 1,000 burnt offerings? Is there any time where you said 1,000 burnt offerings?
No.
No. No. No. There's nothing there that says 1,000 burnt offerings. So what we see here is we're seeing the heart of Shlomo. He didn't offer 10, he didn't offer 100, he offered 1,000. You see? That's what he offered. Usually when someone would bring an offering, it'd be one burnt offering for the nation. He brought 1,000 burnt offerings. That's interesting. Why? Well, because he wanted to. Secondly, because that's his heart. That's what he wants. But there also might be some significance about this 1,000 versus just being one, because you're only required to bring one for the nation. He brings 1,000. We could suppose that he brought 1,000 because he's thinking about all the different times in which the children of Israel won't be able to bring an offering to the Most High. Who knows? Who knows? And at Givon, Yahweh appeared to Shlomo in a dream at night. There's a connection between your Torah portion. So we have the king, Pharaoh, who has a dream, right? Disturbing, dealing with the famine, plenty. But here Yah appears to him in a dream at night. Elohim said, tell me, what should I give you? What I should give you. Tell me what I should give you. Now, how would you guys like the Most High to appear to you in a dream and ask you that question? What would you say?
Man, I actually give you wisdom, knowledge, understanding.
Praise the mighty Yah. Here we go. That was my question. What do you want from Yahweh? What do you want from Yahweh? What do you really want? This is the question that Yah is asking, not only to Shlomo, he's asking all of us. What do you really want from me? What's on the top of your list that you want from Yahweh? What could it be? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Because if he ever did appear to you in a dream and ask you, you better be ready. And you should have a heart to want something from him in order to do something for him. Okay? But remember, wisdom is the power to ask a question. So when you look at what Yah is asking, he told him, what? Tell me what I should give you. What do you want from Yahweh? Wisdom is the power to ask a question like what? How to say what in Hebrew is ma. What? The what is the unknown. You see? But remember, wisdom is the power to ask a question, is to ask a question about the unknown. We found today that Olam is the unknown. It's hidden. See? That's what wisdom is. Okay? It's unknown. It's that what is not known is why you need to ask a question. The word ma begins with the letter mem, giving you that mem sound, that m sound, mem. Mem represents water. as you already know. Right? I took the liberty to put here the ancient water symbol. And what you can see, we have a couple of different ones, but I thought this one was pretty cool. Sometimes you'll see it like this, and that really means waves. Okay. So you ask yourself, well, why are they using water, waves of water, to begin with the word ma, right? Well, it literally means that the waters were something, and the waves of water would have to do with the sea. Okay, the great sea. And what's in the sea is unknown. They don't know what's in it because you can't see anything, right? Unless you're underneath. And even when you're underneath, you don't see everything. Okay. So it's a place of darkness, right? And it's unknown. There's little to no light at all except for what's going on the top of the surface. So when there's darkness and it's unknown, then what happens is you begin to become afraid, meaning that you have fear. That's where this word ma comes from. It's the unknown. And what you're afraid of is that which is unknown. That's what you have fear about. Okay? Now listen to me carefully. You and I fear the unknown. And what Yah is trying to tell us, instead of you fearing the unknown, what you need to do is fear me because I know everything. And when you know me, right, you have nothing to fear. The way that you come to know me is by asking questions about what I said. Therefore, you will learn how to fear me and not fear the unknown, because I know the end from the beginning. And because I know the end from the beginning, you have nothing to fear. When Yahweh is on our side, you have nothing, absolutely nothing to fear. The whole world can flip upside down, and if you know Yah, you're going to be okay. The mountains can fall into the depths of the sea. It's in one of the Psalms. He says, even if the mountains fell in the depths of the sea, you still are my Elohim. You have nothing to fear of the chains that have been put on your neck. Why? Because Yahweh can break those chains. He can smash your chains. I can rid you of oppression. I can make your enemies your footstool. I can turn those who hate you to the ones who have compassion and love on you. I'm the one. This is why it's important for you to understand the ancient ways. If you don't know the ancient ways, then you're not going to know what Yah is talking about. Because if you're looking for the modern God of the New Testament, you're going to be sadly mistaken when things start to happen. We even see that word ma and mayim. Ma. This mem and this ah right here. This is the M sound. And then when you put those two together, M plus ah equals ma. Mathematical equation. So mayim means water. That's water. That's how you say water in Hebrew. Mayim. Mayim. See? So we could ask the question, well, what is yim? We could ask that. It's ma in everything, like mana. Remember the children of Israel had ma, na. What did he say? Yah says, I'm giving you bread. We just read that neither you or your fathers have never known. It was unknown to your fathers, and it was unknown to you, the manna. And that's why when they saw it, they said, what? What did they say? What is it? That's wisdom. Yah's never going to be mad at you for asking a question, especially about something you don't know. This is the reason why Dawid tells us in the Torah in the Psalms all the time to Yah to teach me your ways. In the Torah, Moshe said, Yah gave me these words to teach you. I want to teach you. I want to teach you my ways. I want to teach you the ancient ways. I want you to stay on the path. Also in your Haftarah, it says, this is what his response was when Yah asked him, well, what do you want me to give you? He says, therefore, give your servant an understanding heart, able to judge your people, so that I can discern between good and bad, Tov and Ra, for who is equal to judging this great people of yours? Okay. I have right there mistranslation. Why is this a mistranslation? I'm asking a question, which means I'm using wisdom, right? Why is this a mistranslation? Because this word right here is not the word. It's not what's being said right there. And this is where we get it wrong, okay? He didn't ask Yah to give him understanding. It sounds wonderful, it sounds delightful, and it sounds very noble, doesn't it? Just give me understanding. Give me an understanding heart so I can judge your people. He didn't say that. He did not say that. That works for the Christian, and that works for the religious people. Okay? Because this right here is a very, ask you what's understanding, we would say, well, you know, it could be anything to anybody. It's a very abstract word. Okay? It's just open. And abstract means, well, what do you believe it to be? Right? I believe it to be this. You know, I believe it to be this. I believe that understanding means this. Somebody else, well, what's understanding? Oh, it means this to me. So everyone has their own belief system, and it's an abstract thought. That's not what Shlomo said. Okay? What Shlomo said was quite different. And I'm going to show you what he said. Okay? And all of you who know a little bit about the language will be able to identify the problem. This is what he said. And you're to give to your servant a mind, which is a heart, shomea, shin, a mem, and an ayin, called Shema. What does Shema mean?
Hear, listen, obey.
I want an ability to be able to listen. I want the ability to hear. I want the ability to obey. That's what I want. That's a lot different than what they said about, well, give me an understanding heart. Here, listen. So you know that I'm not telling you wrong. What did it say? They said in English, therefore give your servant an understanding heart. He didn't ask for that. Let's keep it clear. What he said was, I want you to give to me, to your servant. Number one, I'm your servant. And what I want from you, and let me clear it up a little bit here. What I want from you, and this goes together, I want the ability to be able to listen to you. I want this type of mind, because a lave is what they call a heart, but it's really your mind. Okay. And we know that the lamed right here is authority. And what is the bet? What is this letter? In our house, right? So it's the house or the house, and the house means inside or within, because that's where a person would dwell. Okay. So your mind is the authority within. So what he's asking Yah is to give the ability for him to shemoah. This right here is something always, not just one time. It's like a participle, is ing, like always listening, always hearing, always obeying, right? And I want this because what I want to do is I want to be able to, I want to take that same type of mind to listen. So in your Haftarah, after this happened and Yah gave him this ability, I didn't have any slides here, but what was the case that was brought before him?
The case of two prostitutes trying to decide between who should kill the baby and who should not let it live.
Yes. And so whose child it was. And so Yah had granted him the ability to be able to listen to that plea and be able to give a righteous judgment upon it. And so when they said the people, when they heard this and heard what his verdict was, they were blown away. They were like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you hear what just happened? Right? So he's saying that I want this type of mind so I can be able to judge, because that's just shafat right there. I want to judge your people. Why is this thing tripping? I want to judge your amika, right? And I want you and to be able to lahavin, to say the difference between, okay? I want to know that right there, havin right there is to understand. Okay, so this is to listen and hear and obey. And this one here, right here, is to understand. I do want that ability to understand, but I can't understand anything first without listening. And that's what Yah is telling you and I. You see? And that's why Yah gave him a lot of wisdom and he gave him understanding. So with the what you would call the prerequisite, or what has to be accomplished first, is one has to be able to have a mind of listening and obedience. That's what you have to be after. You have to be after this part. Okay, so you can't get the lahavin, you can't get the understanding without this. You need this first. So what it is, you need a mind that's able to listen. That's always listening. So if you're not going to listen to Yah, and you're not going to listen to the Torah, then you'll never be able to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You'll never get any recognition. That's what Yah is telling us. The nations will never recognize that I am your Elohim because you're not listening to my Torah. You will never have any wisdom outside of the Torah. Never. You'll never be brought, you will never, and your gift is not just you speaking in tongues or whatever you might think it is. Your gift is not the ability just to have a dream and give the interpretation. Because I'm going to tell you about a person who can have a dream and give you an interpretation. I'll let you know that you can have a gift and it still won't work out for you. And let me show it to you. Kings have dreams. Kings dream. What are some of the kings in the Torah that had dreams?
Potiphar?
Avimelech, Pharaoh with Abraham, Avimelech, Nebuchadnezzar, all type of kings. This is how Yah talks to them. The Pharaoh's dream here now. This wasn't part of your Haftarah, but I brought it out because I wanted to show you that Yah does talk to kings through their dreams. He had a dream, and the dreams became so troubled by a series of dreams that he had that he couldn't sleep. So we see Pharaoh had a dream. We see Shlomo had a dream. We see Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He couldn't sleep. Pharaoh was troubled by his dreams. He's troubled. He can't sleep. So the king ordered the magicians. He did the same identical thing. He got magicians. So it's not exclusive to Egypt alone. Babylonia did the same thing. Babylon. He went and got the magicians, the exorcists, the sorcerers, the astrologers, and he summoned to interpret the dream, the king's dream to him. Same thing. He's calling. He's summoned, just like, and guess what? They weren't all in that location. He called them from all of his empire. So they all had to come. And the king said to them, I had a dream which keeps troubling my spirit until I know what it means. So he doesn't have any peace, like you saw in your Torah portion. The king answered the astrologers, here is what I have decided. If you don't tell me both the dream and its interpretation, you will be torn limb from limb, and your house is reduced to rubble. This is a little different than what Pharaoh did, right? So what I found to be interesting is that this king, Nebuchadnezzar, is a lot wiser. And the reason why he says this to the astrologers and the magicians and the rest of them is if you're really about it, you're going to be able to tell me the dream and the interpretation. See? So he's asking, he's wise. I don't want you to tell me the interpretation. Somebody tell me, why doesn't he just want the interpretation? Why is he asking for the dream too? Why does he want the magicians, the astrologers, and all of them to tell him the dream? I'll tell you. You read in the story of Daniel, he tells them this because he's saying that I know that you're trying to buy time. I know that. I know that if I told you the dream, you can come up with any interpretation you choose, and then I'll have to buy it. I have to, buy it. I'm going to accept it. So what I'm going to do is I want to see if you're really legit. I'm going to really see if you know the unknown. That's what I want to see. And the only one who knows the unknown is who? See, so he doesn't have any confidence, and we can learn from Nebuchadnezzar. If someone's telling you they had a prophecy, and they're telling you this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and they said, and they're telling you all these different things, you need to be very specific and ask your questions to them and put them on the spot and ask him, okay, well, what was my dream? If they have insight with Yah and they say they have a spirit, ask them, what was my dream? What is it? And what's the interpretation of it? If they can't tell you the dream, then surely they can't tell you the interpretation. This is why he put the death threat on him and said, if you can't do this, this is what's going to happen to you. He's about it. Daniel answered the king. Now, this is just excerpts that are taken out of the text because it's a long story. It's chapter number 2 and 3, okay? Daniel answered the king, no sage, exorcist, magician, or astrologer can tell his majesty the secret he asked about. Because guess what the astrologer said? Ain't no king has ever asked anybody to do such a thing, king. This is unreasonable. So Daniel is saying this, and he's saying this so he can get their lives spared. And he said that, hey, there's nobody who can do this. But there is an Elohim in heaven who unlocks mysteries. So again, he's giving Yah the credit, the recognition, and he's saying that there's only one who can do this. And the one who can do that is Elohim in heaven. He unlocks mysteries. And he has revealed to the king Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in the Acharit Hamayim. So just like Joseph told Pharaoh that Yah has revealed to Pharaoh what he's going to do or what he's doing. So the purpose of a dream is for you to know what Yah is going to do. That's what we're supposed to learn about a dream. A dream is not just for entertainment. A dream is for you to know what Yah is going to do. Again, that word Acharit, I don't know why I keep doing that. The Acharit right here is in here. That again is anger. It means this coming. Okay. And it means the last days in the Hamayim. Okay. So when you look at this in the book of Daniel, chapter number 2, you are going to find out what the end is for the nations and for the world. I didn't want to put that because it takes too long to go into. Okay. But I just want to let you know, if you want to find out what's going to happen for the nations, then you read this, what's going to happen to them. Okay. But he's saying he's unveiling, he's telling this secret because Yah is interested in letting people know secrets, that what he's going to do. Okay. So that's the reason and the purpose for a dream. Okay. Going back to why dreams are dreams. Part of our Torah portion, there's always some question about a Navaim, of prophets. Yah is given prophets, and prophets are supposed to communicate for him. Also to the Kolam or dreamers. So in your studies, you're always going to find out something about a prophet, and you're also going to hear about dreamers. And some people ask, well, what's the difference between the two? Do dreamers tell you something prophetic? Yeah, they give you prophetic visions. They tell you what it is. They can interpret somebody's dream, right, and let you know what it's going to be, which has to do with a future event, because Yah says that I'm in charge of the future, so I'll tell you what it is, okay? Prophets also, too, tell you something, but it takes a lot longer for theirs to come out because Yah plants it as a seed, and he waits for it to come to pass, okay? Dreams sometimes have timelines on them as well. Sometimes they're instant, sometimes they're not, okay? So it just depends on what time something's going to happen. So in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, Yah tells him what's going to happen over the course of history, of human history. So that's why you should read Daniel chapter number 2. When we talk about prophets, as in the book of Ezekiel, the Most High tells the prophet, like, everything that I'm telling you right now, there's things I'm telling you that's going to happen immediately. There's some things that are going to happen immediately. There's some things going to happen in 10 years. There's some things going to happen at this time. So Yah doesn't give us dreams and interpretations on everything for being like 2,000 years or 3,000 years. Okay. He just tells you what it is, but he's letting you know about the future. Okay. It says this in the book of Devarim, which this is the part where I told you need to be careful. Okay. So you could have somebody who's a dreamer and you could have somebody that's a prophet, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're telling you that which is right. And this is something you need to be aware of. If a prophet or someone who gets messages while dreaming arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder comes about as he predicted, when he said, let's follow other gods, when you have not known or let us serve them, you are not to listen, don't shema that, to what that prophet or dreamer says, for Yahweh your Elohim is testing you in order to find out whether or not you really do love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and all your being. This is important because you can see that there will be individuals that can give you a prediction that will come true. They could give you a sign, they could give you a wonder, but the thing is, if they ever mention any other gods, right, that you don't know, Yah has not made them known to you. He says, you're not to serve them, you're not to listen. Don't shema to that, for I'm testing you. So predictions can come true. So Yah is telling us that the only way that you're supposed to listen to a prophet is, and I didn't have a slide, and forgive me, is if this prophet speaks in my name and the prediction comes true to tell you something that I said, then you can listen to that prophet. If a prophet or dreamer here, this is a prophet or someone who's a dreamer, they don't, you notice they didn't mention Yahweh's name. So Yah is telling us that the only way that if something could be validated is have to have my name on it. So what is Yah doing? Yah is safeguarding. I should have put the slide. Forgive me, Yah. Yah is safeguarding us by saying that, because I don't want you to be tricked. But Yah left this out. He's saying if a prophet doesn't speak in my name, okay, it has to have Yah's name on it. If the prediction comes true and it has Yah's name attached to it, Yah is saying that I'm the one who did it because it was known to me. I made it known to you because I know the future, okay? But if the prediction comes true and if my name wasn't attached to it, I don't want you to believe it. So what is the focus? The key is Yah's name. This is the reason why the New Testament never uses Yah's name. So regardless of what they predicted, it could come true. And Yah says, because my name, I didn't say it, don't do it. Don't listen. Especially if they're telling you to follow another God like JC or whoever. And you say, well, another God, what's another God? Another God is God. G-O-D. You don't follow God. You and I don't follow God. We follow Yod, He, Wahe. Okay? So listen to this. The only thing that you and I need to listen to is everything that Yahweh says. That's it. Okay, that should end it for you. Anybody that's not coming in his name and then it doesn't follow as they stated, you have nothing to fear that one. He said you're actually supposed to put that prophet to death. So Yah right here is safeguarding us to let us know that guess what? There are going to be some prophets out here and there's going to be some dreamers and this stuff can come true. But if they don't mention my name and they try to get you to serve it and they try to give recognition to someone else, then you know that I didn't send that prophet. So that's the question I always ask a Christian. So these are the prophecies and none of them come to pass. So they haven't been fulfilled and Yah's name is not mentioned. So you're disqualified. I don't listen to nothing you're talking about. Okay. Yah tells us something about himself. He says, I did not speak in secret. Yah has never spoken in secret. Listen to me carefully. He's not contradicting himself. I did not speak in secret. So when Yah spoke to the children of Israel, he said, in the land of darkness, I did not say to the descendants of Yaakov, it is in vain that you will seek me. I, Yah, will speak rightly. I say what is true. Meaning that when Yah is talking to us, he's talking to us through prophets. Okay. He's talking because that's what Israel chose. He chose for prophets to be the way that Yah will communicate with us. And there's rules to the prophets. Okay. So again, the number one rule is what? What's the number one rule? What has to be attached to it?
Yah's name.
Yah's name, Yah's signature. The second thing that has to happen, it has to come to pass. And it has to come to pass, and there has to be a certain amount of distance between when the person said it, meaning they had no ability whatsoever to fulfill it. They can't be the one who can make it happen. Okay. So it's out of their scope. It has to be something that's olam. It has to be something they have no access to. That's how you know it's from Yah. Okay. So when he talks about speaking in the secret, he's saying that when I do tell you something, I'm not telling you so I can hide it from you. I'm telling it to you so you will know what I'm going to do. I tell you things so you'll know what I'm going to do. I don't have a slide, but it's in Amos chapter number 3. He says, I don't do anything without first revealing it to my servants, the prophets. I will tell you what it is. And I'm telling you right now that your pursuit of me is not in vain. I'm not asking you to seek me in vain. I'm not. Okay. You have a purpose behind seeking me. Okay. And also too, he wants us to know that he frustrates babblers. So people that do a lot of talking and they got a whole bunch of words to say in their omens, I make fools of diviners and I drive back sages and I make their wisdom look silly. So I thought about the so-called sages of the Talmud and the Jewish writings and all this kind of stuff. He says, I make their wisdom look silly. If you read the Talmud or you read anything from their writings like the Mishnah and all this kind of stuff, you'll start laughing at the stuff that they wrote. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He says, I confirm my servants' prophecies. So I'm going to confirm what my prophecies, my servants' prophecies are, and make my messengers' plans to succeed. So again, the idea behind Yah is to say that if it's not confirmed, and I'm letting you know what my plans are, they're going to succeed. Everything that I tell you that's going to happen is going to happen. Now, it might not happen when you think it should happen, but it's going to happen. Okay? I'll confirm it. The things which are hidden belong to Yahweh. Okay? Our Elohim, because there are secrets. Okay? But when he speaks to us, he's not telling you something in a secret, in a mystery. So in the New Testament, where they talk about all these mysteries, like Paul has the mystery of this and the mystery of this and the mystery of that, God says, I never talked to you in a secret. If I did hide something from you, it belongs to me. It belongs to Elohim. But the things that have been revealed, because there are things that are not hidden, that are revealed, that belong to us and our children, so that we can observe all the words of this Torah. The only reason why Yah would send a prophet or send a dreamer or anything is for us to understand the Torah. That's it. To get you to turn to the Torah. If this is not turning you back to the instructions of the Most High, then you're going to have a problem. And here it is. This is evidence to the fact that if it's not of the Torah, something's wrong. Okay, so listen to this. It's in Jeremiah chapter number 25, verse number 4-5. It says, moreover, Yahweh sent you all his servants, the prophets. Okay, again on numerous occasions, but you didn't listen. Shema, and you didn't pay attention. The message was always. The message has never changed, everyone. The message has always been the same. Okay, always. Every one of you turn, shuv back from your evil way, his evil way, and from your evil actions. Then you will live. Then you'll live in the land Yahweh gave to your ancestors, gave you and your ancestors forever and ever. That's the message. That was the purpose of Yah sending prophets. That's the purpose. It's always, and you can jot this down. There is no other reason. The message has always been the same. Listen and pay attention. Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 30. When you listen and pay attention. You go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 11. Listen, pay attention. Listen, pay attention. Listen, pay attention. Don't follow other gods. That's part of it. That's the message. Don't follow other gods by serving or worshiping them. Don't provoke my anger with your own hands with your own hands have made, then I will do you no harm. So when Yah talks about don't follow these other gods, I thought about the covenant, which he says that, I am Yahweh, right? Ani Yahweh Elohecha, the Asher Hotzitika. I'm the one who brought you up from the land of Mizraim, from the house of bondage. Then he says, Lo Yiyeh, there shall never exist to you any other Elohim. Lo Yiyeh, there should never exist to you any Elohim, Elohim Akarim, any after me, and upon my face. Right? Then he tells you, the Lo Ta'aseh, do not make it to you the Lakata Fasel. Do not make any type of images. So those are the things that your hands have made. So Yah right here is referencing the covenant. So when Yah sends a prophet, he's always sending them to tell you about the covenant. I'm reminding you of everything I told you in the covenant. Do not make any images of anything. Don't bow down to them and don't worship them and don't serve them. That's in the covenant. That's in the covenant. So these are not random words, everybody. These are the words of the living Elohim. Don't follow them. So my question to you is, in closing, is what is or how do we follow other gods? That's the question. How do we follow other gods? Somebody give me some ideas.
Worshiping on Rishon as opposed to Shabbat.
Oh boy. That's a hot one right there. So you're saying, because that's okay, so that's beautiful. Because this word right here is lach. That's a lamed. And a lamed, again, is to walk, right? That's what you walk with the shepherd's staff. Okay. And then here is the palm of your hand, which is called the kaf. And the kaf is the palm, right? So you're walking with a staff in the palm of your hand. Okay, so you're walking. So what he's talking about, when he talks about following, Yah's talking about don't walk after them. Don't walk after them. To follow means to walk. Okay, so when you just said what you said, you're saying that instead of them going to the day of the Shabbat, they're walking towards the day of the sun. Perfect. They're on that Sunday stuff. Where's another thing that's coming up that they're about to do? What is how they're going to lock after them? Or lech lekah? What are they? How are they walking? What are they going to be walking on December the 25th?
Christmas, yeah.
You see? So their God has to do, again, listen to me carefully. So you said Sunday. We said Christmas. All right, how else? Let's write some other ideas. How could you follow these gods? So holidays. Okay, how else can you follow these gods?
Diet.
Oh boy. Thank you, Dr. Yared. Your diet. How else?
The clothes we wear.
Clothes. Go ahead, somebody.
Their cross.
Oh, would you say cross? Yes. So there you go. Don't forget that. Those are called the amulets. Oh, God, I got goosebumps. Whoever said that, you just put goosebumps on my body because those are called amulets. And amulets are ornaments, and they're pieces of jewelry that you wear for your seances and your charms and all this kind of stuff. So you're wearing those images. Okay. Perfect. What else?
What about divination?
Okay.
Sorcery.
Right. So what you're doing now is you're seeking counsel, right? From someone else. Good. Awesome. What else? And or advice. You're taking advice from the wicked. Remember, it told us in in the Psalms, blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand at the way of sinner, or sit in the seat of the scornful. He doesn't take advice from these people. What else?
Singing the music.
Uh-oh, we're talking about listening to their music because the music has a vibration.
Making sacrifices to their gods.
Making sacrifices to their gods, okay? So it's giving gifts to them. Also, too, and that on the note of the vibration, what you're talking about, like, for example, I'm speaking right now. So your words are vibration. Okay. So when you talk about words, you're talking about your speech. What else? Is that which is hidden. What's hidden inside of us? What can you hide very well?
Well,
You can-
mine,
You can hide your thoughts, and you can hide your intentions. Okay. What else? What else is left? Huh? What else can you do? Oh, don't forget, Dr. Ured talked about the body, but I want to talk to you about your sexual behavior. Okay. That's a big part of it. Don't forget it. It's your sexual behavior. Because that's what you use your body. Your body doesn't only have your stomach and don't have your thoughts, but as about your body, with your sexual, who you join yourself with. Okay. And don't forget about your body is what you do with your hands and where you go with your feet. And it's about what you use your eyes for, which talked about that, and what you use your ears for your music. Oh, so we're seeing all 5 of our senses. Oh, so on Sunday you're clapping, you're using your hands, you went and used your feet to to go there. Christmas, you're unwrapping those gifts and holidays and all that kind of stuff, and you're listening to music and you're hearing everybody talk a whole bunch of BS. You're wearing your Christmas outfit with your snow and your snowman. You got your amulets on your cross to show that you're religious and you're pagan. Wow. This is excellent. So literally you're talking about our life. Wow. So these are the things. Anyone else?
Now, what do you think about intermarrying with the nations?
Oh boy, there you go. That was powerful. Because you just joined that body to the nations, right? And then guess what? They're not going to follow y'all's ways. And you're going to be listening to their music. You're going to be taking their advice. You're going to hear their counsel. You're going to be giving them gifts. You see? It's all there. Everything that you and I can imagine. Okay? Now, here's the best part. This is why I love our class. This is why I love you guys, is because we get an opportunity to crack open things. Okay. So for example, a lot of people don't know these things that we're talking about, right? So this is being wise because we're asking questions, we're getting answers, we're getting an understanding, we're listening, right? And so Yah has been talking to us and he's telling us these things. And now I'm going to share something with you. Everything that you and I have on this board right quick, I want to let you know something. I'm going to remove it right quick. The reason why you don't want to follow these gods is not just for the sake of you saying that I don't want to die, okay? The reason why Yah doesn't want you to follow them is because everybody who does follow them are going to die. Because when Yah comes and judges the world, because I read something in the Psalms that said that a lot of people, the evil and the wicked, they say that Yah is not watching, that he's no longer concerned about what we do. He's no longer watching our diet. He's not watching what we wear. He's not watching, because the New Testament says he's taking care of all that. But the bottom line is, on the day of judgment, Yah is coming to judge the world for all the things that you and I just had on the board. Everything that you see there. He's judging them because instead of them coming on the Shabbat, they did Sunday worship. Instead of them keeping the Moedim, which are the days of his, they kept their holidays. Okay. Instead of them eating what I told them, they did their own diet. Instead of them wearing clothes that were modest and clean and not revealing, they did what they showed their bodies, which they profaned the image that I made them in. Instead of them getting rid of these images that I told them never to make, they celebrate those things. They take their bodies and they have sexual intercourse and fornication, which I didn't make their body for that. I made their body so they can continue to grow and be with each other and bring pleasure to the covenant of that they're in. Okay. They use their hands to oppress and they use it to do violence. I'm going to judge them for that. They use their hands to work on the Shabbat, which I told them not to do. They go and they use their feet to travel, to go to fights and to go to protests and all these different types of things. They have nothing to do with anything. Okay. The nations themselves, I'm going to judge because of how they treated you. Okay. I'm going to judge them because instead of them seeking counsel from me, that's the only Elohim, they didn't take my counsel. They didn't take my advice. They didn't listen to my prophets. They listened to music that caused them to start thinking a certain way. Okay. That put me out of their minds. Okay. And the vibration of which they're on is a different vibration. Okay. So the vibration that they have is they're not vibrating at the high level of respect and honor and dignity and modesty and purity. Okay. Also, too, the gifts that they have are an abomination to me. And of course, the words that they have spoken, I'm going to judge them for these words because they said I'm not paying attention. And those things that have been hidden inside of your minds are all going to be made known. So all the thoughts that they thought were that they can get away with because they don't think that I know them, because they don't think I understand them, I'm going to judge them for the hidden thoughts because I am Elohim. I'm going to do this. And you are going to escape it. Why? Why are you going to escape? Because I want you to remember something. I need you to remember things that have happened from the ancient times. I want you to remember things that happened long ago, that I am Elohim and there is no other. I am Elohim and there is none like me. I will make known the end from the beginning, the ancient times, what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. What does it say, somebody? What does that say?
Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, there you go. That says Shabbat Shalom. Well, why is it Shabbat Shalom, Lucas?
Because of
How'd
the sin.
Oh, because this letter right here gives you what kind of sound?
Shh.
Oh, okay. Oh, like. And this part here is a final mem, so that's an M sound. Oh, Shalom. Oh, and Shabbat. Oh, Shabbat Shalom. Praise be to the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. Oh, this is a good study today. It was awesome. Let's go find our cahoots because Rivka put a nice cahoots up for us. I know she got one that's looking awesome. Let me see. Cahoots. I should have had it up. Everybody forgive me. Oh, it's so busy. Any questions? Any contributions?
Just an observation over the past, few weeks, months. Seems like Yah's thinning the herd a little bit.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Cahoots. Okay, McCates. Let's see. All right. It is right here. G enter. Okay, boom. Here we go, everyone. You can start recording. Thank you.